All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Lakers. They've been an absolute mess right now. Like, LeBron James isn't trying at all on defense. It's like resonating with the entire team. Like, not even like the 10th and 11th guys on the team who should be fighting. The guys at the bottom of the rotation who should be doggy desperate to get more playing time, they're not even trying. They're not even like getting back on defense. And personally, I think it all starts with LeBron James. I mean, I've seen a couple of things. I know Stephen A. Smith talked about it today. I didn't get the chance to see what he had to say, but like, you know, there's talks about shutting down Anthony Davis. I've even seen some talks about shutting down like LeBron James and Russell Westbrook, not necessarily relatively soon, but you know, at the end of the season. I mean, this team right now, some way, somehow, they're 29 and 38, and they are so lucky that the Trailblazers suck and are injured, and that the Kings just like can't figure anything out, and that the San Antonio Spurs also can't figure anything out. I mean, keep in mind, a lot of these teams are rebuilding, and so they're resting players. They're not trying to get anybody injured, like guys like DeJounte Murray. Anthony Simons is going to be reevaluated in a couple of weeks. So the Lakers are relatively lucky, in my opinion, that they're able to be 29 and 38 and be the 9th seed. That's absolutely unreal. Welcome back to the channel, though, man. If you enjoy it, hit the like button, hit that sub button. I'm watching last night's game. Lakers lose by like 30 plus or 29 or whatever the hell it was to the Phoenix Suns, and it was just right out of the gate, it was disgusting. I mean, it was a disgusting basketball game by the Lakers, and I have some opinions on this roster. Like, you know, I saw a tweet. The reason I kind of wanted to make this video is because I saw a tweet. First off, how's this doing? It feels kind of weird. First off, Russell Westbrook is shooting 9% from downtown post All-Star break. I mean, that's like one of the worst stats I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, I know it's only been like a handful of weeks. Like, it hasn't even been a month since All-Star break. But how a point guard in the NBA is shooting 9%? Is this guy not practicing at all, or what's going on? But I don't want to rag on Russ so much in this video, because in my opinion, this starts with LeBron James. You know, I really think it starts with LeBron, and I think the Lakers have a lot more deep-seated issues, deep-rooted issues outside of Russell Westbrook. In fact, I saw a tweet earlier today talking about, I think it was from a Lakers fan, talking about how he can't wait for the Lakers to let go of Russell Westbrook, however, you know, buyout, trade, however that's going to happen in the offseason, so that he can be like, or he said, so that like people can see, all right, the Lakers just aren't a good basketball team. Like, it's not like it's solely Russell Westbrook's fault. This is just what happens with LeBron James ran teams. Like, there's always a scapegoat. There's going to be a scapegoat every team LeBron's on, whether it's LeBron's fault, whether it's, you know, it's usually almost always the media's fault for, you know, trying to figure out, why aren't they winning? Why aren't they winning? They have the best player on the planet. They might have the best player of all time. Why aren't they winning? Let's blame this guy. Let's blame that guy. Let's blame him. Let's blame Kevin Love. Let's blame Chris Bosh. Let's blame J.R. Smith. Like, it happens all the time. So, LeBron James. I want to talk about LeBron. First off, the Lakers roster is just terrible. I mean, I'm looking at it here, and, you know, I'm not a huge stat guy, but right now, especially with Anthony Davis being out, here's the thing. Lakers are only 17 and 21 AD plays. That is not a good stat. So we're going to include AD into these stats. The Lakers only have 5 players scoring in double digits. That's it. 5 players. If you take a team like the Phoenix Suns, they have like, I think they have like 7 players in double digits, and then they have a bunch of players like right below it, like at 9, 9-5, 9-3. Lakers, on the other hand, I mean, you have LeBron James, who at this point, I think it's evident that he's going for scoring. I mean, I don't think he gives a damn about how this season ends. I don't think, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure he cares about his legacy at this point, because he already knows he's the best player of his generation of all time. You know, we've heard him say that, come out and say that. So, to me, at this point in LeBron's career, you know, he's averaging 30. I think it's a couple of different things. You know, at the age of 30, you're not going to be able to move, especially laterally, like you used to. So defense is going to be a lot harder. I mean, we're expecting a 37-year-old guy to play like elite defense night in and night out when he's averaging 38 minutes per game in year 19. I mean, these are things that are unheard of. Like, we've never even had a player like this do this for this long. So I think a bunch of things are going in. Like, obviously he's going for Kareem's scoring record. He wants to play with Bronny. I don't think those are necessarily why he's not trying on defense. I think it's just this. I think he just kind of knows this Lakers roster was a huge failure. I think the addition of Russell Westbrook, as opposed to like Kyle Lowry or DeMar DeRozan, I bet that's something that the Lakers, along with LeBron James right now, are thinking like, hey, we definitely messed that one up. If we had the option and the opportunity to get Kyle Lowry or DeMar DeRozan, I mean, once again, no disrespect to Russ, because he's just kind of the scapegoat here. Granted, he's not playing great right now. He's not playing great recently. I mean, like, the Lakers with one of those two players, whether it was Lowry, let's say Lowry, for example, they would be a completely different team. They'd probably be above 500. You also would have filled out the roster a little bit differently if you got a guy like Kyle Lowry as opposed to Russell Westbrook. The Lakers emphasized defense this year, thinking kind of LeBron, Russ, and AD, and then you have like Carmelo and Monk, who are actually the top 5 leading scorers on the Lakers. Like, the idea of just getting good defensive players to surround your big 3, it's not a terrible idea at all, because once again, street clothes Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook's never played defense in his career, and LeBron James is just getting old. So they wanted to fill it with a bunch of defenders. The thing is, a lot of those defenders suck balls. They suck on defense, and they suck on offense even more. And I'm looking at these guys specifically. Avery Bradley, still like a serviceable player, but if you're relying on Avery Bradley 25 minutes a night to like help you win a ship, I got news for you. Once again, no disrespect to these players, but like at this point in their career, it's just, you can't expect much from them, especially like consistency wise, like trying your hardest night in and night out, and half of these dudes are over the age of 33. Like, they're more focused on like their careers and their like post NBA careers, focusing on family, focusing on their kids. Like, they're not looking to put in 6 hours in the gym every single day. Wayne Ellington, Stanley Johnson's been nice for him. Dwight Howard, DJ Augustine, like, once again, like, he's a solid basketball player, but like at this point in his career, 34 years old, like, these guys aren't going to move the needle to, making your team a championship team. Then let's get into these 3 guys. There was a lot of hype around these signings in the offseason, and they all failed drastically. I don't care if some of them are still starting, some of them are still playing, getting meaningful minutes. DeAndre Jordan, number 1, obviously he's gone. He's in Philadelphia. He was horrible on the Lakers this year, like, actually terrible. He couldn't really do anything. He couldn't even like get rebounds for him. Trevor Ariza, terrible. I mean, this guy is literally averaging less than 4 points per game, and he's getting over 20. I mean, they start this guy. This guy's gotten 10 starts on the season. DJ got 19 starts on the season. Kent Bazemore has been terrible for him. Can't play a lick of defense and can't put the ball in the basket. I mean, this is a guy who started 14 games for him. So, I look at it, I'm like, this isn't a surprise at all. You got Dwight Howard, who, at this point in his career is more of a backup center, getting 15 a night. He's got 15 starts on the year. Stanley Johnson, no disrespect to him, because he's actually been a breath of fresh air for LA. But once again, if you're giving this guy 19 starts, like, your team's struggling. This guy wasn't even on the roster. He wasn't on a roster to start off the season. Avery Bradley, like, I like Avery Bradley. I like the idea of Avery Bradley. The guy's got 42 starts this year. Avery Bradley's not really a starting shooting guard anymore. I mean, maybe defensively he's, still nice with it. But as far as reliability, as far as like, yeah, we're going to win a championship and like Avery Bradley's going to be our starting 2, it's like, I don't think that's great, because you can't have Russell Westbrook, who's been like getting shut down on offense, paired up to a guy, Avery Bradley, who doesn't have much left in the tank except for a couple of threes per game. Like, he'll take a couple of threes per game, and maybe he'll make 2 of them. Maybe he'll usually make a 3 per game. But like, I don't know, this Lakers team, like, to me, it's just no surprise that they suck. I mean, the defensive players that they were looking for, they've been a huge letdown. And, Russ, AD, Russ can't get anything going with them. AD's been injured for half the season. And it's just been a huge nightmare it's just been a huge nightmare for this entire team. So we'll see what they do in the offseason. They definitely got to look to unload Russell Westbrook. I would look to unload Taylor Horton-Tucker as well. I would try and get rid of pretty much any of the players I mentioned in this video, except maybe Dwight Howard and Avery Bradley. Like, maybe, but I would get rid of all those players. I'd literally get rid of any player over the age of 33 that you have that isn't named LeBron James. That's it for today. A little rant on the Lakers. Hit the like button, hit that sub button for daily NBA content. I'll see you guys later.